Now we have this. So this is what we finished last time. So at the end of the class, you guys tell me the reason my screen is my form was not big enough because of the scale, right? So I reset scale, automatically started, and now it's perfect. It's the right size. Now we haven't finished 3 labels, right? According to the book, we need to add 3 more labels. So this one, the one is LBL scuba dive. So and we put 12 access there. So we're gonna type 2 more, right? So and we're gonna make another one. I know some of you guys probably finished already. Okay, so if you follow me, I'll be like kind of maybe like too slow for you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna drag it right here. So this is label 2, label 1. Right at this point, it's label 1. So we're gonna change the name. So it's called LBL cost. So it will display the cost. So LBL cost. Okay, this is LBL cost. We change the name, then we have to go down and change the font size. Click the font and make it as 12. Okay, then go down. We're gonna change the text as also 12x. It's called placeholder. This XXX is the placeholder. So it means like this label will display maximum 12 letters. Of course, if you want to have more letters, it's fine, but the format will be messed up. So if you can type less than or no more than 12 letters, your format will be good. Okay, so that's why it's called a placeholder. Yeah.
How did you get it to be bigger?
Oh, on the top, this is like a yellow bar. So like restart your scale with 100%. That's what I did. I think last time Joseph told me like I have to use that, right? So right after I choose that, my whole screen looks much better. Yeah. Thank you. So we have this one. Now we're gonna go to the text. And for this one, we're gonna type 12x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the label for the cost. Okay. So if we want have enough space for a letter, we use X because X is widest. Now, if we want to have space, reserve space for digit, then we use 8 because 8 is wide. So we use 8 or X to kind of reserve space. So later on, you're going to replace this XXX by, the corresponding content. We have this. I'm going to do, so this is a label cost. The first one is label scoop dive. And you got, every object from the toolbox, when you do the add the label, add the text box, add the combo box, they have name. Those names are important because later on when you do the coding part, now you're gonna have to use this name to control this object. So this name is LBL cost. So we're gonna do the one last label. We drag it here. So now at this point is by default the name is label 1. So we're gonna change the name. Okay. So name is LBL length. LBL length. Okay, actually they do have a space, locations. So let me see this one. Okay, I'll tell you the location actually all of this. I'm gonna do this one first, then fix the rest of the other 2. Now we have the LBL length, and I'm gonna change the size, the font size. Go to the font. We're gonna change the size to 16 again. And we are gonna do the location. Okay, so we're gonna go to the location here. The location, it want to be 130, comma 402. So we're gonna have to do location for the other two, because as you can see, the other two locations not very accurate also. So this is location. Okay, so let's fix this one and go back to the previous two. So the location is 130 to 402. Okay. Now you go to the next and find text. Text will be 12x. Okay, which means you can hold maximum 12 letters without messed up your format. Trisha, what are you doing? Trisha, what are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay, I'm watching you. So we have this place. So this location. So this location is what do you say? 132, 402. So the other two, we have to fix location also. So each one of them has a location. I think because I scaled it, so all the location are messed up. So we have to fix it. I'm gonna fix this one. So this location, I go back to the label cost. The label cost location is okay, so I'm gonna fix it. 130, comma 381. Okay, so this is this place. For this one, for the okay, so the label cost, the location is 130, comma 381. Now the other one, after you have this number here, yes.
I put the location in and brought the label outside.
Yeah, I think my size, the size of that is 870, 490. I think that is the one the book supposed to tell us. Yes. So 870 to 490. If you didn't have, if you have same issue as I had last class, which is the form will be like looks so small, right? It couldn't contain anything. It is all because on the top of the bar you have the this is the yellow bar. You gotta just go see here.
Yeah, I put there. You on the right side.
This side.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the right side.
And then, so you will automatically back to this. Okay. So anyway, I think because of this, because I did not use the right scale at the beginning, so all my two objects, the location is not good, or maybe I forgot to just do that. So I'm gonna fix this one quickly. Is the first label, label scuba dive. The location should be 130, 360. Okay, so it should look like this. And maybe my button also, the button also not very accurate location. So dive cost. Okay, for the dive cost, the button, the location for the dive cost button should be 41, 293. Okay, so for the clear, the location should be 233, 293. Okay, so it looks like this. So I guess all the locations are off. So I'm gonna fix this, the next one. Yeah, give a minute to do so. For the bottom clear is 233, 293. So the dive cost is 41 to 293. Okay, so make sure they are in the right location. I think just because I did not do the scale right at the beginning, so all my objects are off the location. Yes?
What was the location again?
For what? For which one?
The length, the label length and the bottom.
For this label, for the first label LBL scuba dive is 130, 360. For the second label is 130, 381. For the last one is 130, 402. So for the die cost is 41, 293. For the clear is 233, 293.
Thank you.
No problem. So I know we're gonna do this. I think like all my objects are off because of the, I didn't choose the right scale at the beginning. So anyway, so we're gonna choose, I'm gonna fix the list box, the location. The list box location is 123, 197. So which is right here. The list box, list type. Okay. So then the label, this label, what is location? Okay, I'm gonna choose the location. Okay, so the location should be 116, 169, which is look like this. Okay, so this is the location. 116, 169. So the text box. The text box location is okay. It's also off. So text box location, I go to the location property is 316, 115. Okay. So that is the label box. And then we choose the number of dive team will be, number of dive team will be 74, 118. Okay, so make sure you can, even if you did it right, so when you follow me to check, you can check the location. Is this the right location? For this one, comma box, it will be 130, 130, 72. Okay, which is right here. And for the title, the title will be 217. 217. Okay, so now it's perfect. And I can even change the size bigger. 22. Okay, everything is changed. So this is 22. So finally, after we adjust the location for every object on this user interface. Now the final user interface look like this. Okay, so we have scuba dive, title, and then the label box. The next part, so we have all these objects ready, but we're gonna set up the property, make something visible, make something not visible. So we're gonna change the visibility property to false. So each object has visibility property. After you can scroll down, you can see visible. Okay, if visible true, that means it show up. If visible false, it means it disappear. Okay, it's hide. So we're gonna hide LBL team. LBL team. So this one is LBL team. So we're gonna hide this one. So you select this number on dive team. We make the visible to false. So which means when you run the code, before you enter the choice on your comma box, you will not see this label number in dive team. Okay. Also, we're gonna hide text team, which is this text box at the text team. Go to the bottom and change visible to false. So it will hide. So later on, it will display after you make selections from the comma box. Yes, you have a question? Okay. So Lucas, now since you missed last class, you probably don't have this. You can just follow the book to do the project yourself, or you watch the videos. Okay, don't just don't waste your time. Huh?
It doesn't let me change the summary information. I don't want- That's your-
You don't finish? You didn't do this project?
No,
Put it
I'm
seven?
I'm just gonna do it today.
So why don't you follow me yesterday?
Oh, no, to be honest.
Okay, so we have, okay, so we have the text team.
But I'm just gonna skip this then, I guess.
You know, I just want to skip it, yes. I don't know why it doesn't let you to choose. We have this and LBL select, which is this one. So basically you can hide everything. The only thing you want to display at the beginning will be the title and the combo box. So only after you make selections from the combo box, then everything else will show up. Okay, because if you remember when we do the combo box, we have 3 choices, right? Australia, Fiji, right? I'll come into another question. Okay, we have different selections on our location combo box. So each location inside, I mean, each items in your combo box, they do have index number associated with it. Okay, it's like an array. It's like an array. You know, you put the same type of item together in a collection. So you can think like a combo box is a collection. Okay, so every item in this combo box, we provide index number to associate it so we can control it perfectly. Just like, you know, if you go to the library, right? Library have millions of books inside. How do they know which book is located where, right? Which bookshelf has this certain books? How do they know that? Because each book has a unique index number, right? On the back of your book, you definitely have index number to help you locate the books. So the combo box, also later on when you learn array or array list, is a collection also to handle the certain items inside of this collection. We also need an index to help us. So this index always start from 0. Okay, by default, it's always start from 0. Okay, not only for VB, but also for other languages. So if you have a collection, okay, no matter what name you call it, okay, sometimes this collection can call array, sometimes we call array list, sometimes we call the list. Okay, no matter what name you call, it's just like as long as you have to handle a bunch of data which have the same type together, you always need to provide an index number to help you to associate with. And it's always start from 0. So it's always start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now, if you remember when we do the locations, we have 3 numbers, 3 locations there, right? So the first item we put, no, back to this combo box. You see the items here. The first box we enter is Australia. So Australia was associated with index 0. And Belize will be 0, 1, and Fiji will be 2. It's always like that, okay? So keep in mind, we always start our index from 0 and it continues, okay? Not only for VB, but also for all the other languages, as long as we handle collections. So the use of the index is to help us locate where it is. So just imagine the book in the library, or even in the bookstore. Even in the bookstore, they probably have some unique system to identify where is this item, right? The library have this certain item. So in this one, in this collection, the 3 location collection, we also have an index. But anyway, back to the topic. So we are not doing the coding yet. So let's just hide the content. So it won't hide everything under the combo box. So we're gonna go to, let me select the school dive, which is a LBF select. make it false. Okay, and we have the list. Let's highlight, make it disappear also. So the idea is when you try to run the code, before you make selection on your combo box, you cannot see whatever underneath. You can only see the title and the combo box. So only after you make selections, you're gonna change all the visible property of this object to truth. So which means you can see that. So we're gonna see bottom drive. Clear. And this one, make all the visible become false, so you can hide it. So later on, for the coding part, once you type, you make selection on the combo box, then everything will, display. So we control what kind of content to display on your screen by setting up its visible property. And it is not the first time we see that, right? We use the visible property from the latte selection. Now, if you remember, right, in the latte selection, now if you choose the mocha, you're gonna make the pumpkin disappear. Okay, so we have this. So we hide everything. Okay. Next is we're gonna set accept button. So we click the background of the form, click anywhere of the form. So we select form scuba now. So after we set every object under the combo box to be false, the visible property to be false, then we're gonna set up the accept button, which is you click the frame. So if you click frame, as you can see, the property right here, it will change. If you see FRM scuba, that means you select the form. That is good. Now we're gonna go to the I'm gonna change the accept button. So we're gonna go to top. As you can see right here. So I'll tell you, if you make the property display in the alphabetic order, then your life will be much easier. I think they're doing the high school tour right now. So okay, so maybe in the future, next semester, the kids will come here. Okay. Bottom dive cost. Okay, choose the accept button to the bottom dive cost, and then you're gonna change the cancel button. They do have a cancel button underneath in the alphabetic order. So you can see it's very easy to choose. Now you only have 2 buttons, so the cancel button will be bottom clear. Okay, so I'll give you minutes to do so. Also, by the way, now if you have any question, now you can ask me. This is today is April 13th, so we still have like 17 days until we hand in the homework 7. Again, we have plenty of time. So, like I said, after I finish the chapter 7 chapter project, I will give you 1 class to do the coding, hands-on class. Then we will start chapter 8. Okay, I'm going to start chapter 8. I'm going to try to do this for this semester. I'm going to try it out. It will be the bonus point. Okay, so hopefully everybody can have a good grade. But still, I have seen some students did not really participate in the class. This is a relatively easy class, right? And if you have any issue, any question, any difficult time, just email me instead of doing nothing, or instead of just idling, because your parents pay this much tuition fee, not to let you come here to idle, right? So I'm sorry to say that, but that I'm telling the truth. I just want you to be a better person. So we set up the accept button and the cancel button. Now we're gonna start with the coding part. Okay. And also if you want, you can even click the start menu to see what is going on. But you know, at this point, I did not do any coding yet. So the only thing you can see will be the splash screen and this title and the combo box. Okay, let's see that. Let's check. As you can see, that is a splash screen going quickly, and you have this. So everybody else hide it. That is perfect. That is what we want. But you do know, I have not coding yet. I did not do any coding yet. So, you know, you cannot select anything. Okay, see, even if I select Australia, nothing will happen because we didn't do the coding yet. I'm gonna close it. Okay, so at this point, my user interface is correct. So we have to do the coding part. Now, when we do the coding for this chapter 7, the most important idea is procedure. How can we write our own procedures? And later on, how can we pass parameters? Okay, so everything you learn in this chapter will benefit you in the future because the whole ideas will be the same in C++, Java, Python, etc. So the whole idea is not suppose if I have a big project, right? You know, it's hard to manage a huge project all by yourself. So it is always good idea to separate this big project into small pieces, okay? And you can just maybe today you write the piece of code, just do the display the menu, and tomorrow you're gonna write a piece of code, just do the calculation, and the next day you do the piece of code, just do the you know, gaming issues, certain gaming issues, okay? So maybe after a month, you can put the code together to be a whole project. Or, you know, if you work for the company, we really want to do this, the project manager, your team leader, will assign you a piece of assignment to let you do. And then in the end, he will put like everybody's assignment together to be a whole project. Okay, so the procedure is a very important idea. We're gonna use this in our everyday life. If you really want to be a programmer, okay. Now, even if you do the HTML, even if you do the web design, you still will use this idea, okay. And it's a break down into pieces idea, okay. Sometimes we call it the top-down design. From the top, you look at the whole project. It's probably very complicated. So you break it into pieces. So it will be easy to handle. Okay, so like, you know, if you renovate your house, so actually these days I'm renovating my house. So the contract team, they have 3 persons. So one person probably is do the painting, another person just take down the old stuff, another person just do the measurement and do some customized stuff. Okay, so they have, you know, like they have separate jobs. So for the procedure, it will be the same idea. You separated the big project into small pieces, so it will be easier to handle and easier to manage, to debug, to find issues. Okay, so in the future, you're gonna use that a lot. When we do the procedure, now we will probably handle some parameters. Okay, so first of all, you know, the procedure idea is from mathematics. Now, if you ever learn Math 101, or Math 134, or Math 135, you will know linear function, right? I know everybody probably learned linear function in high school. So everybody knows the linear function, fx, right? And based on the x value, the f value, the y value will be different, right? So x we call the input, the of f of y called output. So same idea. So this is a linear function, it's a function. So usually for a function, we might have 1 input, we might have 2 input, depends. Because, you know, in mathematics, we do have some functions have multiple parameters, right? Multiple input X, Y, Z. We might have X, Y, Z values. So we have we can have multiple input and we can have one output or several output. So it is possible to have more than one output, okay? But at this point, to make maybe easy, you only concentrate on one output. But in the future, you will know you can kind of return multiple values by using the special parameter. Okay, so when we talk about parameters, we see input. You can think like the input. Later on, we're going to talk about we have two big type of parameter. One is called call by value. One is called call by reference. So call by reference is very special because you can return result by using the call by reference. But the most likely, you're going to use call by value. Okay, your function, your procedure always use call by value, which means if I have a value in my main function, I just send a copy of value to this procedure. So whatever happened in this sub procedure will not affect the other part because they only have a copy instead of the content itself. Okay, the call by reference is different. Call by reference is not, instead of send a copy to your procedure, you share the same memory cell with the procedure. So the procedure, if they modify the memory cell content, it will be fixed. It will affect everybody. Okay, that is why if I use call by reference, I can use this to return value. Okay, but that is a little bit of challenge for you guys. So at this point, all you have to know is we have the procedure idea and we have a parameter idea. Okay, so at this point, all you have to know is we might need to use the parameters to control our procedure. That's all you need to know. Okay, because you know, if you use a call by reference, even you later on in the future, probably is like a little bit hard for you guys at this point. But anyway, let's start to do the coding. Okay, as usual, you know, if you want to do the coding part, you just double click the form, right? Actually, sorry, so it asks you to double click the combo box. Okay, now it asks you to double click combo box in the school dive, double click. So you have this, okay, to show combo location, select index change. So we're gonna move our cursor for the first line and click enter, because you know what we do? What is the first step always? To put the comments, right? To write comments. And so I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see what I'm typing about. Okay, so I'm gonna make the zoom like 150%. So you're gonna type the comments. It will be 4 lines. Okay, so you always should have a comment, comma. I mean, let's start. So I'm gonna type procedure name, program name. Okay. Scuba expectation. Which home are you doing, Peter?
I'm doing the scuba.
Seriously? I thought you finished a long time ago. Author. One second. Date. June 2022, comma 2018. Not the purpose. Also, by the way, although I'm going to cover chapter 8, which is the actual credit in this semester, but your final project do not require the chapter 8. So if you look at the rubric, you don't need to wait until you finish the final project, because in the past, I did not really cover the chapter 8. Okay. Let's go back. Sure. Determine the location, and so I'm gonna make the toolbox close, and lives available. So I'm gonna go to next line, otherwise you cannot see it. Okay, I'm gonna go to next line type. You don't have to go to next line if you want. I'm gonna have space here, available, and calculate. Okay, calculate the total by to cost. Okay. Tricia, what are you doing? Why don't you do the project with us? Do you finish? I don't think you can finish, right? Do something. It's just either. Even if you don't do this one, at least do some stuff. Okay. So we have this. So this is a comment. After you finish comments, you do the click enter and just type option strict on. Okay, definitely go. So keep in mind, what is option strict on? It's avoid the data type automatic transfer, right? Because normally if I don't do that, not only for VB, but also for other languages, sometimes the compiler will automatically convert from one type to another. Okay, it might cause the data loss. For example, if you change from a decimal number to an integer, okay, you're gonna lose whatever behind the decimal point. Okay, but that is not what you want. Okay, or even if I assign integer to the decimal, if I assign 1 to the decimal, so instead of 1.0, right? You might not want to do that. You might not want to change a 1 to 1.0. Although it will not causing any data value loss, but you probably don't want it. So yeah, in order to prevent the automatic data type conversion, you do the option strict on. Because sometimes they do have for some operations, it's only for a certain type. Right? The reason we have different data type, not only each type occupy different memory space, but also sometimes there's some operations just for a certain type. Like if you have a string type, you can combine several string together, right? String concatenation. Now, if you have integer, you can do the modulation, which means binary remainder. But if you have decimal, you cannot do that. Okay, so for different data type, they might have their unique operation. That is why it is important to stay in this certain data type. Okay, unless you don't care about certain things. Now we have defined the top. Now I'm going to define the variables. Okay, now keep in mind that when you have your final project, you do need to declare local variables. Okay, so click enter. So I'm go to the line 9. So we're going to declare local variables. Okay, so let's type Actually, if you have your book, you can look at the page 428. So you type class variables. So we define class variables. So whatever we defined at the beginning of the class it can be used in every small sub procedure. Okay. So sometimes we call it the global variables. Okay. So we're gonna need private. Okay. Int for hours as let's see as tab key as integer equal to 4. So I think we mentioned this access modifier before. If I didn't mention about this, I'm going to mention again. The access modifier, we have 3 access modifiers: public, private, and protect. So public means you can see from outside. Okay, public can see from outside. So public class. So you want class to be seen outside, so of course you can use this. But for our class variables, we want to make it private. So nobody can modify those content outside. So if you want to modify the content outside, I mean, the class variables, you're gonna have to call the sub procedures. Just like in the future, in the next semester, okay, next semester, if you want to, study computer science or CIS degrees, you're gonna learn Java. Okay, in the Java class, the class in the Java programming languages, we call those class variables as field. So we always make the class variable as private, kind of to protect those variables. So from outside, we don't want everybody coming just modify the data, right? You don't want to do that. So we want to hide the information, not protect it. So the only way you modify those numbers by using, by calling the procedures. And we have this underline in front of each variable name. Just tell you, okay, that is a global variable. Or you can, in C++, we call this a global variable. In Java, we call it as a field. And here, we call the class variables, which means it's can be used in all subprogram. Also, it is just a recommendation, a suggestion with if you have a class variable, you start with underline, which means if you don't want to use an underline, you won't see any difference. Okay, but you do know, if you want to be a good programmer, you have to make your program user friendly. Okay, one way to make user friendly is like we have certain rules, not really rules, certain by default. Okay, so like every programmers, they do that way. Like if you declare a class variable, you start with underline. If you have given name, you don't give like XYZ, like private X equal to 4 or private Y equal to 4. You give a meaningful name. And also if it's more than 1 words together, like 2 or 3 words together, start from the second words, every first letter should be uppercase. As you can see, int for hour. So it's like three words together. So start from the second word, the first letter should be uppercase. So sometimes we call it a Camel naming system. It's like the Camel. Okay. But like I said, that is just recommendation to make it a user-friendly code, because most likely after you develop this project, someone else work to maintain your code, to debug your code. Okay, so you need to follow the rule. It's not really a rule, because the rule is like if you run the code, if it doesn't, you don't follow the rule, the code doesn't work, right? But even if you don't follow the suggestion, your code will work just fine. But it's not user friendly. It's not gonna help people to understand what you code. So in order to help other programmer to understand your code better. So we have this suggestions, okay, or recommendations, like everyone follow. If you want to be a good programmer, if you want to find a job as a good programmer, you have to follow these rules, because user-friendly is #1 rule, okay? #1 discipline, okay? You want to write user-friendly code, so you add a lot of comments, and some students, which, you know, they're doing very good. Besides, they add the comments inside of the coding. So even give me a separate Word document to tell, explain the document, the purpose of this project, like the purpose of project, who's the author, and the output, input, expected output, expected input. Okay, that is perfect. So we have this, as I said. Now sometimes, even if you write a code without any error message, it not mean it's good code. Okay, the good coding, you have to follow this suggestions. Okay, the naming system, how to name a variable. You know, imagine if I just name this int 4 hours as x, I can say private x as integer equal to 4. It will work also, but is this a good code? It is not. Okay, you always need to provide a meaningful name to any variable you use. Okay, and also if you have this meaningful name contains more than 1 words. Okay, if it contains more than 1 words, then start from the second words. Each word's first letter should be uppercase, like int 4 hours. FH is uppercase. Okay, I think I talked too much. You guys are getting bored, so I'm going to type the rest of it. Okay, I don't have the semicolon right here. No semicolon. So I accidentally typed semicolon because I was thinking Java and C++. So we have that. So we're going to type the rest of the class variable. So it's always private to protect from outside. So we have public, we have private, and in the future, so you're going to have protected. Protect means only this class and this class subclass can see. Okay, so it is better than private, but a little bit strict than public. Public is everybody can see. Now we have this. As I said, now if you just type the code, follow the book, you type the code, you can type everything within 1 hour. But do you really understand what is going on? So my job is to help you understand what is behind the code, so you understand better. Okay, and it will benefit you to do the other programming language. Maybe next time, next semester, you can take the CS1, which is Python, or CS2, which is Java. Okay, now you have to know what is behind each code. That is my job. That's why I explained in the past 10 minutes to talk about those. That's one line. Of course, if you have any issue, just let me know. Okay, I'm happy to answer all the questions, and also we have plenty of time in the class to help you out. Okay. Int 6 hours to give a name. Also, as you can see, now we use, actually, no, you can see here, we use a variable to hold a constant number, 4 or 6, right? Int 4 hour equal to 4, or int 6 hour equal to 6. So why do we do so? Because sometimes some programmer, they just use 4 and 6 in the calculation instead of provide a variable. Okay, I'll tell you what. The reason you do that, one reason you have to set up a variable to hold this constant number is because in the future you might want to change the value. So instead of you change from 4 to 8 or to 10, you just have to change this variable name. Okay, you just have to change this line, and you can benefit the whole project. Okay, that is one big problem. I mean, like one big benefit. Instead of going through every single line to change the 4 or 8 or 6 to different number, so all you have to do is you go to the top and modify this single line. That is one big benefit of provide a special variable to hold this constant number value. Okay, so we always should do that. Okay, to make our debug life easier. You know, not only you have to write code, but also you're gonna have to debug, right? You know, some of you guys, I have noticed a lot of you guys, when you are in the class, you didn't really listen to my lecture. I tell you, in the future, you're gonna regret that, because this is everything I said in the class is a fundamental idea, fundamental knowledge in the computer science. Okay, you think you just have to finish everything by just looking at the code, type the code without listening to my lecture? You're wrong. You probably only get like 60% of knowledge from this class. Seriously. Okay, like I said, if you spend 1 hour, you finish the code. But do you really understand why you do so? Probably not, right? So I noticed quite a few people in this class are just doing your own work instead of doing something. Brian, put your phone away. What are you doing? I'm talking about this content. Okay. So in the future, you might see me in other classes, because I do teach a variety of classes in the computer science department. Okay, so in the future, when you see me in my other classes, you stop behaving like that. Okay, although you might get an A from this class because you finish all the homeworks, but do you really understand the content behind it? Probably not. Okay. Okay, so I strongly suggest you, if you really like it, just do your own stuff, never listen to me. I suggest you to just watch my videos after class. Okay, because everything I said in the class will benefit your future study if you want to be a programmer. Okay. Now, now to be a programmer is not simply just type the code. You need to understand what is behind it. Otherwise, why come here? You can just stay home, just type the code all by yourself. I should mention this like at least a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago. As you can see here, look around. How many people not listen to me? And some people like feel sleepy in this class. This is Wednesday, not Friday, and this is 11 o'clock, not like 7 a.m. Okay, maybe if you feel sleepy, I suggest you next time when you come here, you should like drink some coffee and something else to be energetic. Otherwise, you just think about why you be here. You want to have a good job in the future, right? And I tell you, in reality, in the real world, there's so many jobs for the programmer. Okay, even there's a lot of even doctors in the hospitals. Sometimes some of them just they change their major. Instead of to be a doctor, they change to be a programmer, because you think about the salary. Okay, if you become an experienced programmer, your salary will be easily to be $500,000 in Bay Area. But anyway, but can you really be a programmer? Not really. Okay, I think in this classroom, a lot of people cannot be a programmer, because I can see you are suffering. You really don't want to be in this class. Okay, if you want to be a programmer, you have to enjoy what you're doing. Okay, if you don't want to listen to my lecture, if you think like it's suffering, you come here to listen to take the VB class, maybe you should not be a programmer. Maybe you have to think about something else. Okay, although the programmer salary is really high, but probably it's not good for you. Okay, not everybody can be a programmer. That is why the salary is so high, because you have to think deeper. What is behind each code? And also, it's you have to spend a lot of time to do the homework. And also, do the homework is not just typing the code. You gotta understand what is behind it. Seriously. Okay. So you get ideas. We're gonna have the class variable. Actually should mention this one at least 2 or 3 months earlier, so you can start. Some people just do the code by themselves and stop coming here. That is ridiculous. I tell you, this is a face-to-face class. If you absent more than 2 times, no matter what reason you have, I take point from you from your final grades. I wrote it in the syllabus. Okay, so whatever on the syllabus I wrote, I follow the rules. Okay. Okay, so some of you guys had very bad attendance. Okay, no matter what excuse you have, I write it very clearly in my syllabus. If you have more than 2 absent, I will start to take points from you. So your third attendance, I take 3 points from your final grades. And some of you guys already, I don't care. Like, I mean, I should not say I don't care. I'm just saying like some people use different excuses not to be here, but it's your own responsibility. You choose to take this class. So you should be here every Monday and Wednesday for no excuse. So imagine if you go to the interview and you said, tell to the person who interviewed you, said, I just don't want to show up. Oh, I have to go to the doctor. I have to go somewhere. Okay, imagine they will give you a second chance or not. Okay, so we're gonna type the class variable. Keep in mind, if I have all this naming system is just by default rules. Every programmer should follow. So if you want to have a class variable, it's always start from the underline. Okay. 8. And it's always a good idea to have a variable to hold a certain value. Private int 8 hours as integer equal to 8. We have private string div 1 going to display some certain messages. So like if you select some make some actions, you might have some string display. So we have read area with. So we have this. This is one message it will display. So you're gonna assign this into a label. Also keep in mind everything you see on the user interface should always be a string type. So if you want to display a number into a string, you have to convert, right? I mean, a number have to convert to string. Private string equal to private string div 3 as also as I mentioned about attendance, even after we finish this chapter 7, when we have this hands-on class, which means everybody come here to do the coding, you still have to show up. Okay, that's still the class time. You still have to show up. Okay, I know some of you guys have, if you have more than 2 absent, you take point from me. I'm sorry about it, but I told you at the beginning of semester. This is a different message it will display, and we go to next line. Private. So keep in mind, all the variable you declare in this at the beginning of class can be used on all procedures in this class. Okay, so later on we're going to talk about scope of variable. Okay, a scope of variable is like where each variable can be used only within the area you define this variable. So if I define this variable at the beginning of class, which means all these variables will be able to use for all the sub procedure. But we're gonna control. We cannot make all the variable to be class variable. Okay, because we want, first of all, once you declare an object from this class, those class variable will always stay there. It will occupy memory space. But if you declare variables in the subprogram, so those variables will live only when you call the subprogram. So it will occupy less memory space. Okay, the less memory space means like you can run the code faster. That is why in the future, you're gonna have to declare your variables inside of your subprograms as much as possible, and declare your class variables as less as possible. Okay, so in the future you might want to make it all the variables stay in the subprograms. Okay, then you can pass the value from one subprogram to another by using parameters. Okay, that is possible. But here for this question, we do have some class variables to let you do. But you're gonna understand this idea again when you learn Java. Okay, so we have a string that we have 6 different types. Type 4 as string. Wait. No. We have 6 different types. So normally we define const numbers as a class variable. Okay. No. Wait. And the last one is a string type 6 as string equal to none. This week, there's so many people will be in Florida, right? Maybe they're gonna do the diving. I think the whole nation has a spring break in this week or next week. Okay, so we have this, we declare those class variables. Okay, so class variables, when you declare the class variable at the beginning of the class, that means these variables can be accessed, can be modified through all the subprograms. You know, the subprogram, sub procedure means as long as start with private sub and unsub. So that is one of the procedures. Okay, and you can modify, you can access. Okay, so when you declare an object from this class, it will stay there. It will stay there until you close the program. Okay, it may take like, as long as you don't shut down the program, it will stay maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, etc. But if you declare variables inside of a procedure, it may only exist 1 millisecond, 2 milliseconds. 2 milliseconds, okay, not million, milliseconds, so which is quick. Next one is we're gonna add comments. As you can see, we have this coding part when we double click on our combo box. So we're gonna do the combo box. So first of all, we're gonna type a comment. Okay, comment, we're gonna type. So this event handler allows the user to enter the location twice and then cause sub procedure I'm gonna go to the next slide. I don't have enough space for that. To place the 5 types in the list. Okay, so we have that. Okay. Now we're going to declare our local variables. The local variable is only for the combo box, the select index change. But you know, so this will only, whatever we declare inside of the private sub and sub will be the local variable. It only exists when we call the, when we call the click the combo box. Okay, so normally it's a variable. So this one, as you can see here, class variable they are just constant numbers or constant strings. Okay, now here we're gonna define variable dimension. We have an int location. The int location will be later on. We're gonna assign the value of the index number. Int location choice equal to as integer. As you can see, this is a real variable. Okay, because you did not assign the value yet. Okay, so we're gonna what value we choose? Back to the combo box. Okay, back to the combo box. We know here we do have quite a few value right here, right inside of the items. You see here, items is a collection. We have these values: Australia, Belize, and Fiji, and then we know we have index associated with it. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 is Australia, 1 is for Belize, and 2 is for Fiji. Keep in mind, in the future, for all collections, any type like array list, all the, collection, which means you put a bunch of items, they are same type together. So you will form some kind of collection. So when you have these collections, how do you access the items inside of the collection? By using the index number. And the index number is also always start from 0. Now here, we have to use a select case. Okay. So anyway, so we finish this one. I'm gonna type what is this int location choice. So we're gonna assign the index number we choose to here. So if I select Australia from combo box, you're gonna assign 0 to this. If you select the other one, you could select 1. If you select Fiji, you select 2. So we're gonna assign the value. So int location choice now equal to this combo box CBO combo location dot. So you go to select index. So which means if I select the first one, is automatically 0. If I select second one, it's automatically 1. Third one is automatically 2. So you assign the value. So based on your click, you assign the value to this, and based on this value, you make a selection. Because if you remember, now for each location, they have a different type place, right? They might have Great Barrier. They might have, I think this two belong to Australia. The other 2 belong to the second place, and the other 2 belong to Fiji. So they have different locations, right? Different locations have different type of dive. Now we have this. After we have this, we're gonna clear out the list item, because you want exception list item, list dive. We'll clear out, and we can start to list dive dot items dot clear. We'll clear out this choice, the choice we just made. Then we make selections. If I select 0, that is calling a team. So here's the common thing: the Australia team, the Belize team, and the Fiji team, we have not done yet. So it's like we're calling the sub procedure behind this. Okay, so later on you do have to do the coding for what is Australia, and what is Australia team, what is Belize team. As you can see, it has many the other small programs here. Okay, so we use a select statement. Select case together is a keyword. As you can see, it's become purple color. A select case based on this value behind the case, we make selections, just like a switch statement. Okay, based on what value? Int location. choice. Based on this int location choice value, we make selection. Case now, if this int location choice equal to 0, now we're gonna call this procedure. At this point, this procedure is not defined yet. Okay, this procedure is Australia. So you're gonna type it yourself because it's not defined yet. So you get the idea. So right now it's red on the line. Why is this red on the line? Because it's not defined. Okay. So you're gonna. So we're calling doing action on the Australia. Then if we choose the second one, case 0, case 1, now you call the other team, Belize team. This is also not defined yet. Okay, so after we finish this small program, we're gonna write down Australia team, Belize team, and Fiji team. It's just like you display this, the different this type of die. Okay, that is what's inside Australia team and what's inside Belize team and what's inside Fiji team. Okay, so case 2. I think you can see when I type case, it's automatically changed to uppercase letter, case C. And the last one is Fiji. Fiji team. This is also not defined yet. Okay, so we're gonna define later. So it's and select. Okay, so this is select case. Select case is also it's like if else statement, but you know it's like a nested if else statement, because for if else you make selection among these 2 choices. If you have multiple if else, you can have more than 2 choices. But for the select case, based on what is behind the case, because based on this value, you can have as many choices as you want, like case 0, case 1, case 2, case 3, until whatever this, and then you have the and select. Okay. So after you make, which means based on your selection, we will do some action, display what kind of dive you have in this area. Because if you go back to the first part of your chapter, this chapter, you know, they have a table shows you on the page, on page 384, tells you in Australia, you have 3 types of scuba dive: Great Barrier, Tiger, Fathom, and if you have Belize, you have 2, Great Blue and Rainbow. If you have Fiji, you have the other 3. So based on your choice, you're gonna display this is 3, you know, 3 value, 3 type of dive. And this is different, each type of dive have different lengths. Some of them is 8 hours, some of them 6 hours, some of them 4 hours. After you make select, then you know you want to make some of the label display, some of them still hiding. So after we have finished the and select, we're gonna do that. Okay, make items visible or not. In the window. So we're gonna make the labels all display. So if you want to make them display, you change the visible property to be true. So this is the first one, LBL team. So LBL team dot visible equal to true. And we have text box. We want to display text box. So after you make selections, it shows you what kind of dive you have, and you have to make choice how many people you want. That's text team dot visible equal to true. And LBL select not visible also equal to true. LST dive visible. List box. You want to display that also equal to true. So we're gonna, so once you make selections, you want to like these numbers until the bottom. Okay, you want to make all of them to be visible. Okay. So true. So in this project, we contains many sub procedures. Okay, they have special meanings. We have this LBF dive dot. Okay, list. So we're gonna do the bottom. So BTN bottom dive cost dot visible equal to true. Bottom clear dot visible also equal to true. Okay, so we have LBL scoop dive. So this other three, the other three labels, you want them all be displayed. LBL scoop dive. So this one, okay, LBL scoop dive dot visible equal to true. And LBL, you know, the labels, LBL cost. I think this one will be cost. So LBL cost dot visible. So just kind of like you want to make every item after you make choices from the combo box. You want everyone displayed. The other one is LBL length. Not visible. Equal to true. Okay. You want to also clear label because you know the LBL scoop dive, LBL cost, LBL length, they all just what 12x, right? You don't want 12x. You want to clear them out. So we're gonna clear after we have this make it visible. Then we're gonna clear the label. Clear the labels. We have LBL scuba dive dot text equal to this empty space. Just clear out so you don't have to display 12 big X. And then we have the other two LBL cost. A text equal to an empty string. Okay, that is that you clear the label. If you want to clear the label, that is how you do that. And we have the last one, LBL length. The text equal to this. So this is one, and then we want the focus to be in the text box as we handle in the past. We always want to after we done some actions, we want the cursor back to the text box. So we just do one line. Text box dot focus. Okay. So this is, sorry, I have 4 here. Set focus on number in dive team text box. We have text box, text team dot focus. Okay, so that is this. And then we finish this part. Now, the next part is we're going to define our Australia team, Belize team, and Fiji team. So what you do is because each location, they provide different service, right? So if you select Australia, and you go to calling this procedure. So procedures can call each other, like a function call can call each other. So maybe instead of a quadratic function, you might have a linear function. It is possible, right? It's common. You might see a parenthesis x plus 1, parenthesis, parenthesis square plus whatever. So it is possible to have a function call another function to use another function's result. Okay, so it's very common. So if I calling this, as you can see, it start from this one. This is a procedure without parameter. So you see the parenthesis here. Inside parenthesis is empty, so which means I don't need to have any parameter or any input to do this action. All the procedures you can think like this action. But what is action to do? Once I have Australia, I will show them the different service I provide, a different diving service we provide. So we're gonna just add those service to our list. So once we select the locations, and we're gonna provide the list from this list box right here. So we're gonna add the items, the string dive, different dives into this, okay? Because the first one, Australia, you have 3 types. The second one, you have 2 types. The third one, have 3 types or 2 types. You know the idea. We go to here. We're gonna do the last one we're gonna do today because I know it's almost time and some people want to go. So we do the Australia. So what we do is we're gonna type. Okay, I'm gonna have a space first. Private. Okay, sub. As you can see, if I have a procedure, it's always start from private sub. Okay, private sub, and finish with end sub. Private sub what? Australia. Team. Okay, sorry. Enter. We have this. Now, what is Australia team do? As you can see, if I define this Australia team, then my Australia team right now, it become brown color without underline, because I'm defining this procedure. Okay, so this procedure is this procedure fills in the possible dive types offered in Australia. So we're gonna just add those different string type. As you can see here, we define those strings right here. Okay, we're gonna add 1, 2, 3. They provide the first 3 service. So we add this 3 service into our list item by using list dive dot items dot add. Okay. You have add or clear, just add this into our collection. So combo box is a collection and the list is also a collection. Okay, so we have multiple collections, and each collection does have a building functions or building action you can do. So in items, we're going to add items. The first one we add is string dive. Sorry, 1. So I use a tab key to help me to do that. And then repeat doing this action again. So you're going to add the first 2. So what I do is I'm just going to copy and paste to make our life easier. Select this, Control C, and Control V, and Control V again, and modify the 2, and the other one to be 3. So in the future, Control C and Control V. If you use Microsoft computer, you will know Control C and Control V will be your best friend. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. Okay, for all the Microsoft product, is very easy because a lot of time when you do the coding, you just copy and paste and modify. Okay, that is maybe like 30% of your work in the future will be just done by Control C and Control V. It will save you a lot of time. And you can do the same thing for your other two. You know what? Since it's quite easy, let's just still have 4 minutes. Let's do another one. So we have this project. Okay, so this action is just doing this. So I'm gonna define this, the other one, private sub. As you can see in the procedure we define, we always start with private sub and finish with add sub. Okay. I'm gonna do this one, private sub. And now we have this name, Elias, right? Elias team. And you want to display the service. Okay, so I'm gonna just copy this comments right here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna copy all of this right here and paste right here. And you will see how easy it is when you use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. Okay, for all the coding, you can always use Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. That is why, you know, if you have a choice in the future, use your Microsoft computer, because most likely you do the coding on your Microsoft computer. They won't give you a Mac. Even if you go to, you know, the speaker Google, they won't give you a Mac computer. It's always Microsoft, like a ThinkPad or Dell. So they have two kind of service right here. So we're gonna the two services to provide is type 4 and 5. Okay, so this is one of it. So I will copy and paste again. So I'm going to copy and paste this part to do the Fiji one. So Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. And this one is, because you see here, immediately it's become on the line because you define this 2 times. So I'm going to modify the name as Fiji team. And it's Fiji team. So you can see Fiji team will come here. Bless you. And it's go to the Fiji. And you just need to the service provided is 2, 3, and 6. Okay, so I'm done with it. I'm gonna save everything, and we're gonna do this on Monday. As you can see how easy it is. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I know if you have Mac, you don't have Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. You have a different command.
It's command instead of control.
Yes, but you know this is useful. Yes.
What were the numbers with you? I'm sorry.
2, 3, 6. So you see I can, once I finish the first one, I use Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I can do the other 2 procedure in 2 minutes. So that is all for today. I'm gonna see you on Monday, and enjoy this weekend. Have a nice Easter, and stay with your parents. I mean your family. Enjoy the time. It's precious time with families. Make sure you sign attendance. It is important. Thank you. You can come here on time, please. And also, you have actually more than 2 times already.
I know.